I used to find you mildly irritating because you talk too much. You know how when you're talking to someone, let's say you're talking to me, you're sitting on your stoop and I'm on my way inside carrying a bag of groceries, and we're having a neighborly discussion about something. And then it reaches that point where I say, okay, in that tone of voice, and I start to slowly move away. That is a cue. That means the conversation is over, you see. And if you continue to speak, I'm not going to hear what you're saying. I'm thinking about how I'm going to get away from you without seeming rude. All that stuff that you're saying that you think is so important is completely lost. There is no point in continuing to speak after that unless you get off on making people feel uncomfortable. Maybe it's a dominance thing. I don't know. In the last few months, ever since you were kicked off that cruise for, in your own words, telling the captain he was wrong, you have become unbearable. I realize that the Chinese food that I buy is American and not authentic Chinese food. I accept this. I don't need to be told every time I walk by you with a white container. I realize that reading books is a better way to learn about the mafia than watching a Blu-ray of Goodfellas. That's not why I bought the Blu. I don't need you to tell me how many grams of sugar are in the 12-pack of ginger ale that I tried to sneak by you without having to hear what you had to say about it. I can't even get a carton of water past you without having to hear about filtration systems. I've started to take longer routes home so that I can come from the other direction and not have to walk by you. I still see your head poking up from behind the bush, and you still, get a few irritating words out, and I kind of wince a hello and then rush inside. I think you're starting to realize that I'm trying to avoid you. I don't know. I get the sense that you think that everybody is an idiot who just doesn't want to be confronted with your hard truths. And maybe I would feel the same way if I went through life having everyone get angry at me every time I tried to offer them what I felt was friendly advice. I mean, if we were going to turn this around, I personally feel that you should quit smoking because we all know what smoking leads to. It leads to you sitting on that stoop a lot, being a constantly irritating bore, scrutinizing everything that I purchase and telling me what I ought to have done. I've met a lot of people like you over the years. I've played a character like you on YouTube. I keep running into variations of you. That appears to be my karma. I don't believe in karma, but I act as though I do. They speak with such confidence, admittedly about topics I don't know a lot about, but then they'll get onto a subject that I do know something about, and I think, oh, well, none of that's right. They're always giving advice where it isn't needed. They really seem to think they're right about just about everything, which amazes me, that kind of optimism. It's like buying a lottery ticket and being absolutely convinced that you have the winning number, even after the winning number has been picked and it's different from yours. But clearly they picked the wrong number because they're idiots and only I know the truth. They're very exhausting people to be around. I do my best to avoid them. It's very difficult when I have one of them sitting on the front stoop all the time. I'm sure there's a lot of people now who know a person like this. And there's also a lot of people watching now who are that person. They won't know it. And even if they do, they're not going to make any use of the information. They don't really use information for anything other than as a stick to beat people with. Okay.